I'm Anil Kumar, and in this video we will discuss how to write an absolute function equation when we are given the solution on a number line. So it's kind of a reverse calculation. So here I'll give you solutions on a number line, and what you need to do is write down an absolute function which will represent that solution, right? So I've drawn four number lines here, and now let me give you some solutions. Let us say first one, let's keep it very simple. We have 2 points as the solution of an absolute equation, and let's say these points are -4 and +4, right? You need to write an absolute function equation whose solution should be -4 and +4, right? So that is what you need to do. Okay, I could have a solution of an absolute function which is just 1 point instead of 2. In that case, you need to write an absolute function which will have that as the solution. Let me say that this point is 5 for us. Okay, so let me first do these two. So when we have absolute function equation whose solution is -4 +4, it's kind of simple. We can say absolute x is equal to 4. Now this particular equation, absolute x equals to 4, has two solutions. X could be -4 or +4, correct? You can now pause the video, write down the solution for the next given solution in the form of absolute function. So we need absolute function equation which has solution as 5. Now if I have simple equation like this, I'm expecting two answers, but when do we get one solution? Think about this. How about x minus 5 equals to 0? Well, that is the kind of equation which will have one solution. So in absolute function, whenever you have two solutions, we are expecting equal to some number which is positive. Whenever we have one solution, we are expecting that absolute function to be equal to 0. Now, when can you have a solution which is, let us say, a number line which does not have any solution? Let us say just a blank number line like this. That means no solution at all. Well, no solution at all could be when I write absolute function is equal to, let us say, a negative value, -1. As you know, absolute function is always greater than or equal to 0. It can never be -1. Therefore, that represents no solution. You get the idea, right? So that is how we could get absolute function with no solution. Now, here are slightly difficult questions to do. If I give you two solutions, but these 2 points are not like ±4, but instead we have a point which is, let us say, -3 and 5. Now that is your test question. How are you going to write an absolute function which represents solution as -3, 5? So that is your test question. I would like you to pause the video, write down an absolute function whose solution is x equals to -3 and x equals to 5. Now let me discuss with you solution of this question here. So we are looking for solution as -3 and 5. How do we find an absolute function with that kind of a solution? Now what we really do here is we find the midpoint, right? So that is how we approach. So find the midpoint. Midpoint will be -3 plus 5 divided by 2, and that is 2 divided by 2 or 1, right? So we get a midpoint which is at 1, right? So let us say this is the midpoint which is at 1. Now from the midpoint you have to see how far are the boundaries. So from 1 to 5 we are 4 units away, and from 1 to minus 3 also we are 4 units away. Correct, right? So we are 4 units away from both these points. So basically we could write an absolute function with absolute x translated to 1, which is absolute x minus 1, and you are how much away? 4 units away. So it is x minus 1, absolute of x minus 1 equals to 4, which will be a function whose solution will be minus 3, 5. You get an idea, right? So that is how we could get solution for such an equation, correct? So here we will get absolute x minus 1 equals to 4, correct? So that is how you should find. This is a very interesting question. Now for your practice, let me give you one question before we end this particular video. So this is for you to practice. Let us say we have minus 4 and 10. You need to write this as an absolute function whose solution is minus 4 and 10, right? I hope that helps. I'm Anil Kumar. You can subscribe to my videos and learn a lot. Thank you and all the best.